My concern with Asea, my philosophical concern, my ethical, moral concern is, did the guy who invented it discover the cure to everything? And is charging for it? Now, the story goes that they invented it, and then it was like, okay, well, a pharmaceutical company came and they're like, we want to buy it, and then it was like, no, and it was like, I understand that the guy put in a lot of money to invent it. But this is a time in history where if you came up with the cure for everything, you'd have to just put it out there for free. I mean, this is my thinking. I might be wrong. And it's not, I'm not really saying they're wrong. I'm just thinking, there's people that invented things, like the guy that invented hydrogen peroxide, or the guy that discovered, Lugel's iodine, all these things that are curing people. The natural stuff, I mean, you can't invent that. You can't invent turpentine or essential oils or charcoal, things that heal. But Asea is like all the other stuff, all the other natural stuff heals to a certain percentage, but it seems like Asea is like 100%, like this. It's like liquid God, like liquid healing, liquid Jesus. For me, it was a miracle. I couldn't do the Cutler protocol for my mercury toxicity. I was just because I had a double situation going on. I had gastroparesis and I had the mercury toxicity. So it was like, well, in order for you to detox the mercury, you need to do the Cutler protocol. You need to take these pills every day, whatever. And it was like, I probably could have done it, but I probably couldn't because of how bad and clogged up my body was and how I couldn't process food. And so Asea, it's like, just a little cup of water. And it's like, me personally, I have no problem with Asea because I could afford it, and I'm like, but I just wonder if there's a problem here, in the sense of like the number of people that Asea is going to reach is going to be minuscule. It's going to be very small forever, because it's MLM for one thing. It's not sold in health food stores. It's not talked about by people who are in natural health. I don't know why. It's really weird. And I'm thinking in terms of like, if you're a Christian, it's like Jesus healed for free, and I'm just wondering if Asea, if they went about it the wrong way, because they were like, okay, well, let's set up a business and then we'll get people rich. And you got to admit, I mean, that's what they're telling people. They're saying, you will get rich if you sell this product. And I'm like, I'd rather not make any money selling Asea if they would just give out how it's made. Because I'm wondering if they just went on YouTube and they went on everywhere and just said, all right, here's how you make it. You got your water, you got your salt. Here's how you do the electrolysis. Boom. You're going to have Asea, you're going to have liquid ozone, you're going to increase your glutathione or whatever. What would happen if that happened? Meaning, would nothing happen? See, because if nothing would happen, then I understand their model. Their model makes sense. But if they did it and it like just took off and like people all over the world started making it, I mean, maybe maybe a normal person couldn't make it, but and I'm just ignorant of things. I have no idea how science works. I have no idea how chemistry works. So, I mean, and that's what bothers me about Asea. And it's really weird because it's like the thing that healed me, there's something that bothers me about it. I don't know. I guess it's like one of those things where it's like if you're rich, and you don't have to be rich to get this yet, but it's like if you're rich, you can afford something that can prevent you from being poisoned or like the rich throughout history have avoided a lot of problems because they're rich. And I'm just wondering, it's like I just hope Asea isn't easy to make. And by not publishing how it's made, a lot of people are not benefiting from it because we live in like a post profit time, not like post capitalism, but it's like we live in a time where if you discover something that can help people, you just got to give it out, man. I mean, it's kind of weird because I was thinking about it. I'm like, if I discovered Asea, and if I got off my butt and discovered something on my own, I could prove this. But it's like, if you think about it, if you discovered Asea, I mean, it's liquid healing. Like, what would you do? Oh well, I'm going to turn it into a business. I want people to make money. And it's like, really? If I discovered Asea, I just like publish the information. And here's the thing. Like, they say, well, we didn't want the pharmaceuticals to buy it because then they would have bought it and then they would have actually prevented people from knowing about it because because it's the patent. Now that's tricky, that's screwy because if you think about it, you're patenting something that's healing. And I don't know how many patents there are for something that's healing. Like, think about that. Now I know there's patents for lasers, like soft lasers and stuff, different designs and stuff, but I mean, can you patent ozone? Can you patent hydrogen peroxide? Can you patent um, borax or essential oils? You can't patent those things. But with Asea, they're saying, well, it could have been patented. And I'm like, how? Or like, but they're kind of making it sound like we have to make money. We discovered this thing. We have to make money. We have to patent it. We have to patent it. Well, why? They don't really tell us why. Here's you see what I'm saying? It's like, oh well, yeah, it'll heal everybody. It'll heal you. Come on, guys, that's what they're saying. They're saying it will heal you. Now they kind of don't go directly to that. They kind of say like, well, if you run, if you do sports, this will make you recover more quickly, and blah blah blah. Like they can't just do an advertisement like, hey, if you have mercury poisoning, if you have MS, if you have cancer or arthritis, this will heal you. Like they can't say that, but it's like, I'm just really tripped with Asea. Like I'm so tripped out because I'm like, what this did to me was freaking a miracle. Like I was in bed. I was so sick, and it wasn't just the Asea that healed me, but I had a lot of mercury. I mean, my body is very strong, so I think that's why I didn't die or whatever. But it's like, I mean, I had thiol sensitivity, and I, I was just so sick. I had no energy. I mean, I took Asea, man. It's like I feel like I don't know if I'd say it got all the mercury out, but it's like we live in a messed up world. I just think we need to Like, what's the long-term plan with Asea? Is it always going to be this, you got to buy 4 bottles, $180, you got to join, you should be a seller thing, I mean, come on, man. I mean, what if, here's the thing, we don't know how it's made. Um, and it's like, this is my only complaint, and maybe I'm just unrealistic about how the world works. Maybe I'm being ungrateful for something that's helped me, but that's my only complaint. Like, I like the way it's structured. I like the MLM. I like the way they do it. I like that it makes people rich or whatever, especially because you're doing a job that's like a real job. Like, your job is like you're helping people with their health. Like, to me, that's a real job. There's not very many real jobs in this world. Anything where you're working with the government or the food industry or military, that's not a real job, in the sense of like your job doesn't really benefit anybody. I mean, the food industry, that's all crap. The military is based on false wars. 9/11 was an inside job, and nobody in the military is fighting for freedom. And now the individual soldiers, they're heroes. I mean, the individual soldiers are great, but our wars are not for freedom. That's just, I mean, that's a joke. But and so there's very few real jobs. Like, look at dentistry. It's not a real job. Put mercury in people's teeth, kill them. Yeah. Do unnecessary procedures. What I'm saying is, like, there's very few real jobs. Like, there's very few jobs where people are actually making good food, where people are actually bringing peace to other people, where people are actually making the world a better place. And that's cool. That's cool if you can do a real job. And to me, Asea seems like a real job. Like, you're selling a product, and you're not just selling it because it benefits you. It's like, hey, it benefits people. And you have to find people that need it. I mean, I think maybe if the average person took it, maybe they wouldn't notice anything. But sick people do. I can testify to that. But anyway, so is it Vertus Norton? I don't know if that's the guy's name, but it's like, if I could talk to any of those guys, that's like what I would say. I'd be like, hey man, like, just explain to people what you think about your product. Do you think your product is healing? Okay, why can't you give out how it's made for free? Because think about it, like 500 years from now, like, where do you want Asea to be? Do you want the whole world to know how it's made? And that's all I'm talking about, is like how it's made. Like, do you want it to always be under patent? I mean, man, it's just crazy, because it's like, it's so beneficial. And what I'm saying is, I feel sad for the people who can't afford it or don't know about it, or whatever. It's like, and that's the thing. We live in a time where if you can do something for free, it can become very popular. What I mean is, like, if it's free, you can put it on YouTube. People could put titles like healing water, and it's like, here's who makes it, here's how to make it, here's what it is. And it's like, it could be on Twitter, people could be sharing it, and it would just be awesome. I kind of feel like they invented something and they missed the revolution, the chance for revolution. They decided to patent it. They decided to make money off of it, and then I don't know. It's kind of trippy.